So this girl takes her boyfriend out for his 23rd birthday. Small Italian place, no reservations, just first come, first serve for the tables. Well, these two wait 30 minutes, and they're finally taken to a table. They order some drinks, they're settling in, they're having a very nice time. Then this family walks in. Mom, dad, 2 kids. The hostess tells them, it's gonna be 30 minutes. The mom then loses it. 30 minutes? My kids are hungry now. This is ridiculous. People are taking up big tables when they're just couples. And she literally points right at this girl and her boyfriend. Like them. Yo, I think that lady's talking about us. Oh my God, she is. The mom then marches over to their table. Hi, you two don't mind moving so me and my family can sit here, do you? You're young, you can wait. The girlfriend's jaw drops. Excuse me? So get up. Get up, please, now. She's losing her mind. The waiter then comes over and is like, ma'am, you can't just ask guests to give up their table, okay? You're gonna have to wait like everybody else. This is ridiculous. There's no respect these days. So she goes back to the front. Her whole family looks super embarrassed of her, as they should be. She was out of line. And then when the hostess finally got them a table, it was right by the bathroom and the kitchen. So they were very uncomfortable. Good. This happened in elementary school. A kid gets called out in class. Tyler, that is not appropriate. Go to the office. Then without a word, he stands up, sprints out of the classroom, and runs straight out the front school doors. And just like that, he's gone. The principal gets called. Yeah, we got a runner. They can't find him anywhere. 15 minutes later, the school's on full lockdown. People are starting to actually panic at this point. They call the kids' parents. They come, they're furious. They're freaking out. Where's my son? Where's my son? Police cars surround the building. A helicopter is hovering above. A freaking helicopter. They start searching the woods behind the school. Hours go by. A SWAT team looking unit shows up, and they find him a mile away, sitting in a lonely patch of grass, eating a Snickers. Tyler, what are you doing out here, man? I got stressed, and the Snickers, it helps me relax. I feel much better now, by the way. They escort him back. The kid got suspended and his parents had to take him to therapy for a bit. Had to figure out why he would do this in the first place, but still, that day is still known as the Great Tyler Lockdown. That's insane. It started with a rule. The dress code is to promote professionalism. No crop tops, no tank tops, no ripped jeans. Girls' pants can't be above their ankles. Some real crazy dress code stuff. Well, this girl had enough, and she wants to do something about it. So one day, she shows up to school in a full-body horse costume. Yes, I know it's a llama mask, but I don't have a horse mask, so bear with me. Mane, hooves, tail, covered head to toe. And technically, this horse costume followed every single rule. That's not professional. Show me where it says no horses. They couldn't do anything, because there was no rule in the handbook that said no costumes or no horses. There was no skin showing, her ankles were covered by the horse costume. Like I said, she knew the handbook better than the teachers and the principal did. But the thing is, the teachers were obsessed with this. One teacher would bring her carrots every morning. Hey, horse girl, I got a carrot for you. That's hilarious. One teacher said, you're my hero. Even the lunch lady would start neighing whenever she saw her. She wore this horse costume every single day for 3 straight weeks. But then the school finally added a new rule. No costume wear. She's not breathing. I'm calling 911. This happened junior year. Middle of class, the teacher collapses. Hits the ground hard. It wasn't a fall. It was a full-blown cardiac arrest. One student jumps up, grabs their phone and dials 911. Yes, my teacher collapsed. I don't think he's breathing. Can they guide him while he gives chest compressions? Stay with me, teach. Stay with me, teach. Ambulance comes, they take the teacher's life is saved. And guess what the school does? They suspend that student. You're suspended. You broke the rules. School staff is supposed to approve all emergency calls. Are you kidding me? That was the actual policy. If something happened, you were supposed to go find a school admin, report the crisis, wait for a call to be authorized, and then somebody can call 911. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This kid's teacher was literally dying on the floor, and he got in trouble for calling 911 to save his life. And get this, later that same year, another kid has a seizure, cracks their head on the floor, the whole class is screaming, and it takes the school 30 minutes to approve the call. Sounds like they didn't really care about emergencies. They cared about control, and that is so messed up. People that were legends in their high school. This one high school had costume contests during Halloween. Well, this one kid showed up to school wearing a Walmart hot dog costume. As he stepped up on the stage, everyone thought it was funny, and they were chanting, "Hot dog kid, hot dog kid," and he won the award for best costume. costume that year. Well, the next year, he wore a penguin costume. And as he stepped up on the stage, he stood there for a second. And then he ripped off the penguin costume to reveal the hot dog costume underneath. Everybody in the school absolutely lost it. That kid became a legend right then and there. Now, students can't win the costume contest 2 years in a row, but everyone knew that hot dog kid had done it again. He rarely talks, he doesn't ask questions, he just fixes stuff. Every school's got that one person who just handles everything. At this school, it was the janitor. He was a quiet dude, always wore the same faded button-up. He never ran, never seemed to be in a rush. He just walked around like he had all the time in the world. But somehow, whenever something went wrong, he was always there. Locker jammed? You'd turn around and he'd be there already, crouching down with some tools. Happens when it rains. You're good to go. Popping it open in 2 seconds. Projector broke during a presentation? Teacher's panicking, and from the back of the room, mind if I take a look? Vending machine eats your dollar? He doesn't even ask. He just walks up, slaps the machine, and boom, there's your chips. Walks away. Like a freaking legend. Like I said, he was quiet and he barely talked, but he always showed up at the exact right moment. One time, a kid twisted their ankle during gym class, and the gym teacher was freaking out. 15 seconds later, here he comes with an ice pack and a rolly office chair. Have a seat right here. Put this on your ankle. Mr. Stevens, I'm rolling him to the nurse's office. Okay, you guys have a great class. Come on. He wasn't nosy. He didn't snitch on anybody. He just fixed things. And when someone would say thank you, he would just nod and say, that's what I'm here for. Best janitor ever. Shut it down. We can't. There's a wait list. At this one high school, there was this one kid that never talked, like ever. Nobody even really knew his name. But one Monday, he walked into the cafeteria with a massive backpack. Everyone was very curious, like, what the heck is in there, man? He sat down and he pulled out a full-size blender, a jug of orange juice, and some frozen fruit. He plugged it into an outlet and... Everyone was staring. This kid's making a frickin' smoothie? And lunch? He poured that smoothie into a cup and handed it to the kid next to him. For me? Okay. Yo, that's good. Just handed the kid a smoothie without saying anything. The next day he did the same thing. Brought the blender in, made smoothies, but this time he handed 3 cups out to people. And again, every student loved them. Day after that, 5 cups. It's like he was testing the clientele to see what they liked. Well, by Friday, he had a handwritten sign that he put in front of this lunch table. Smoothies, $2. Mango, pineapple, or strawberry banana. And the wild part? He was good. Frozen fruit was packed in dry ice. The straws were pre-torn so we could just pop them in there. And he had a punch card system. Buy 5, get 1 free. At first, the teachers didn't really notice. He was blending during the loud parts of lunch. He even had a kid from drama club doing the marketing. Attention everybody, everybody. There are smoothies at table 20. Go get yours now. This all started crumbling down when kids stopped waiting in line for lunch and they began waiting in line for these dang smoothies. What in the world is going on over there? Some kid's got a blender and he's making smoothies and people are paying for him, man. I don't know. Well, shut it down. I can't, man. There's a wait list. Mrs. Johnson's in line. I'm so excited for my smoothie. Principal didn't care. He came over and took the blender, unplugged it. He was shut down. But was he? That kid missed school the next day. But then he came back with a battery-powered blender. He didn't need to plug it in anymore. During lunch that day, the principal and the school police liaison came and got him. They brought him to the office and everybody thought he was done for. But then the next day, he came back with a new and improved sign. Smoothies, $2. Mango, pineapple, or strawberry banana. Now approved by school. Turns out him and the principal made a deal. Okay, fine, you can sell them at lunch, but you have to also sell them at every single school event this year, and we take a 5% cut. The money you make during lunch, that's yours though. Deal? By the end of the year, that kid earned enough money to buy a used car. He was the silent smoothie slinger. You gotta respect the hustle. Yo, dude, Jeff got office detention. What? He is so cooked. There was this one school where regular detention happened in room 117. Boring. You sit, you do your homework, you write an essay, standard stuff. But there was another kind of detention that nobody ever wanted to go to. They called it office detention. Only certain kids ever got it. No warning, no explanation. Just a slip handed to them that said, report to the principal's office, 3 o'clock. God, no! Once they walked in, the door shut behind them. There were no windows in this office, which made it 10 times worse. No phones allowed. You weren't allowed to do your homework. You weren't allowed to do anything. What you did have to do in office detention was this. Just sit there, across from the principal, in total silence, staring at each other. Have a seat. Okay, this is office detention. Look at me. Once they were settled, no one would say a word. Nobody would move. It would just be complete silence for an entire hour. And if you broke the silence, the hour would start over. Nobody knew what the point was. There was no lesson, there was no scolding. Just slow, silent, psychological punishment, which in my opinion is horribly messed up. But I guess the weirdest part is it worked. The kids that went there never got it again. That's just insane. Oh, is she just on TikTok right now? I guess we can all be on our phones then. No phones in class. What? So this teacher at this one school was just done. She was tenured, bitter, and she didn't even fake it anymore. She walked in late almost every single day, never brought in her laptop, and gave students independent reading like 5 days a week. But this time, she just kind of took it a little too far. She walked in 10 minutes late, holding Starbucks, sat down at her desk and said, "I'm not really in the mood today, class, so just pretend I gave you something to do." Then she pulled out her phone and didn't even put headphones on. She just started scrolling on TikTok full volume while sipping her coffee. The whole class looked around like, wait, what are we supposed to do? But naturally, a few people pulled out their phones as well. You know, I guess it's totally fine to be on our phone today, they thought. Absolutely not. No phones allowed. I don't want to hear a sound from you guys. Silent. Do something, but be silent. They're like, you're literally watching TikToks in front of us. What the heck's your problem? That's when one kid pulled his phone back out. Not to scroll, but to record a video.
If I post myself and I don't care how cheap something is.
Just a quick video, her at her desk watching TikTok full volume, sipping her coffee, and the rest of the class sitting in silence. He posted it that night. Next day, 40,000 views. Somebody sent that video to the principal. The next day, the principal pulled him aside and asked him to take the video down. But instead of getting mad, he said this: "Thank you for sharing that. We're gonna use it." They're gonna use it, he says. By sixth period, the superintendent showed up at the school. He walked straight into that classroom. The principal was behind him. They asked that teacher to step out in the hallway. She never came back in. The next day, they had a sub. Good. That teacher should definitely not be teaching. This teacher was mean for no reason. She snatched phones, she gave out detentions like it was candy, and she always blamed the wrong people. So this one kid noticed something. Him and the teacher had the same exact water bottle. Same color, same brand, same size. So one night, he filled his water bottle with pickle juice and spicy pickles. He screwed the lid on tight, and he labeled the lid, "Do not touch, pickle juice inside." The next day, he walked into that teacher's class early and casually left the water bottle on her desk. Didn't say a word, just sat down and he waited. Halfway through the lesson, she picked it up without even looking, took a big sip, and instantly froze. What is this? It worked. The kid said this: "Wait, I think that's mine." She took a closer look at the water bottle and read the lid. "Do not touch, pickle juice inside." Why was this on my desk? I guess I forgot where I left it. I'm sorry. Principal's office now. He goes to the principal's office. "So why are you messing with Mrs. Johnson?" "I didn't." "Well, then how did she randomly drink pickle juice?" "We have the exact same water bottle. I even have the receipt. I bought it last month." "Okay, but why was there pickle juice in there?" "Because I made pickles and I want to eat them at lunch." "Okay, but you couldn't have put your name on the water bottle or something?" "I did. I even put on the lid, 'Do not drink pickle juice inside.' So it's not my fault she doesn't pay attention to..." Hey, language. I'm sorry. Am I in trouble? I mean, technically, no, you're not, so get out of here. And that's basically how it went. He didn't get in trouble because technically he didn't do anything wrong. Honestly, that's a legendary prank. This school said it was doing something new for safety, just adding tiny audio monitors right outside the bathroom. It's not a camera, it would just record sound. The principal said it was to prevent fighting, loitering, and other nefarious activities. Weird, but technically legal, so most people just ignored it. But a few weeks in, something strange happened. Kids kept joking how they could overhear like a feedback noise in the vents, like a weird clicking or popping noise when you pulled your phone out. Well, one janitor overheard this and he did not like it. So one night after hours, he checked the ceiling above the boys' bathroom, and that's when he found it. A live microphone inside the bathroom. He didn't say anything right away. Instead, he pulled it down, took pictures of it, and called the parent that he trusted. The parent didn't call the principal. She called a lawyer. And then the news. By the end of the week, it was everywhere. Turns out the principal had installed 6 audio devices in bathrooms across the school. No signs, no disclosure, no permission. By Thursday morning, a school district representative entered the school, walked into the principal's office, and 15 minutes later, the principal left the school holding a box. he was fired. And the janitor, he got like 30 gift cards for thankful students and parents. That janitor definitely did the right thing. Stephen was a quiet kid that got bullied for everything, but one day he decided to change that. It was a second-floor classroom. Stephen was sitting by the window, and he decided that today was the day he was not going to be bullied anymore and that he was going to become a legend. Now, the funny thing about Stephen was that he was actually shredded. Well, the teacher was mid-lesson, and Stephen opens up the window, and he jumps out. There was a single-story building right outside this window, so he just jumped down onto that. And then he started dancing. Like full-on dancing, poses, spins, his hands were in the air, frickin' jazz hands. One kid near the window said, "Bro thinks he's doing a halftime show." He was hyped. He thought he did a great dance, so he hopped down to the courtyard, walked back in school, and sat down in the classroom. But the thing is, nobody even saw him do it. Just that one kid by the window. Nice work, man. He was livid. He did all that because he wanted to be this legend of a kid who danced on the roof of the school building. But no one noticed him, so the next week he came and he did it again. Same class, same window, same routine, and again, nobody noticed. Did anybody see that? See what, Stephen, huh? The world does not revolve around you. Pay attention to the lesson. I hate my life. Black markets kids ran in their schools, follower submission. So last year in 7th grade, this kid started a candy business, and things were going pretty well. He ran the business for about 4 or 5 months. But then this other group of kids, 4 or 5 of them, wanted to start selling candy too. So they did. Not too long after the other group started selling, the principal found out about this business. So our dude cleaned out his locker, took all of the candy and the money home, and pretended like nothing happened. And the other group of kids that started selling after him got caught and shut down. The principal was happy about this. He thought he had settled this whole candy business situation. And that's when our dude started his business back up again. So far, he's made about $300. This kid used to be popular. What's up, Carla? Hey, what up, Johnny? Hey, look, it's the loser, Steven. Screw you, Steven. He used to be untouchable. He would bully a bunch of people, his friends would laugh, the girls in the school loved him, and so did the teachers. But one Monday, he came back to school with a haircut. And it was bad. No, it wasn't just bad. It was horrible, like a freaking cartoon villain. Hey guys, how we doing today? What's up, Carla? What? What? You look like coconut hair. What happened to you? Your haircut sucks. And like I said, it was actually bad. Like, it was uneven, there wasn't fade, it was just cut horribly. And just like that, it was over. Every day, kids would laugh at him. Even when his hair grew back and he had a normal haircut, people still made fun of him. He eventually just stopped talking in the halls, in class, to his friends. He would eat lunch alone. Kids were making jokes as he walked by. And that's how the king of the school turned into the punchline of everyone's jokes. Hey, that's karma for you. So this guy's nephews are graduating high school. It's a big crowd. He knows it's going to be packed. So he shows up to the graduation early. He brought his own folding chair because he has bad knees, and he brought some headphones. So he opened his chair, sat down, and popped his headphones in. And because he's early, he was just chilling by the entrance. About 40 minutes before they let everybody in, this pregnant woman shows up. Somebody must have let her cut in line because all of a sudden she's right next to him. And not even 5 minutes later, she taps him on the shoulder and says this: "Excuse me, would you mind letting me sit in your chair? I'm having trouble standing." Okay. He's polite about it. He goes, "I'm sorry, I can't. I got really bad knees and bad feet, so, I need it. That's why I brought it." She nods and then asks again like 2 minutes later, and he's like, "Yeah, still no, I'm sorry." So now she's annoyed. She's huffing and puffing. She turns to her husband and is like, "Can you say something to him, please? Hey man, she's pregnant. Would you mind letting her sit in that seat?" The gall of these people, okay? Anyway, this guy says, "I get it, but I really do need it. That is why I brought it. She can wait in the car or maybe sit on the curb or something. I don't know. It's not my problem." Now this lady's husband flips. Wow, you are such an a**hole. Here's the thing. This guy came early. He planned everything. He brought his own chair because he has bad knees and feet. That's his chair. And now he's the bad guy for not giving his chair to some rude pregnant lady? Please. So this kid, her name is Jennifer. She's 10 years old, she's super chill, she's having dinner with her parents. Her and her family are just talking about school when she casually says this: "Oh, Katie's in my class. That's my teacher's daughter." Totally normal, right? Well, her mom froze. Like fork in her mouth, froze, startled, and she goes, "Wait, your teacher's daughter is in her own class?" Jennifer's confused. She's like, yeah, I mean, she treats her like everybody else. It's super normal. And her mom's like, of course, sweetie. Now go on. She smiles, nods, and sends her kid to go play Minecraft or something. Then she turns to her husband and says this. This is a full-blown scandal. She starts talking about how this teacher's kid has unfair advantages, like secret access to test answers and stuff like that, like it's a freaking crime show. Her husband's just trying to eat, and he goes, are we sure this is a big deal? Well, apparently that was the wrong move. You're not even willing to stand up for your own daughter? What do you say? And then the next morning, she wakes up and she emails the entire 5th grade team at that school, saying that this kid being in her class is incredibly unfair and that she's gonna go to the principal, calling it a terrible case of nepotism, which is just a fancy word for playing favorites, even though there's literally no proof that this teacher is playing favorites at all. She even CC'd her husband on the email. He reads it and he's like, yo, you really sent that email? Are you kidding me? She said that when her husband said that, she got so mad she left the room. Way too disrespectful. You're being a terrible father. Now, it's incredibly awkward for this entire family. The husband is not talking to his wife. He's super pissed because she's being absolutely crazy. There's nothing wrong with a teacher having her own daughter in the classroom. Like, it has nothing to do with them. Jennifer's kind of like, what is going on? She said it's been awkward for her in class as well. And this entire time, the mom is walking around like, I can't believe no one sees what's happening here. This is a scandal. No, it's not. What do you guys think? A secret he'll take to the grave. When this guy was a kid, his school had this huge field day event that they did every single year. Basically, on this day, students were free to roam around the school, there were games, prizes, it was incredible. Everyone looked forward to it, but one year, everything changed. On field day, he was grabbing some lunch in the cafeteria. He was messing around with a friend when they saw a little basket of butter packets. He picked it up, put it on the floor, and stepped on it. Well, when he stepped on it, the packet popped and the butter shot across the lunchroom like a rocket, sliding on the floor. Dude, that was sick. Let's do it again. They kept stepping on these butter packets one after another, launching the butter across the floor and giggling to themselves. Hee hee hee, this is so fun. Right? Well, apparently all this butter had accumulated some feet in front of them in this kind of butter pile. And a teacher who was carrying a tray ended up walking right over it. I love field day. This is a great day. He crashed down hard and his tray of food went everywhere. Another teacher ran over. Oh my God, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. He was not okay. Something was seriously wrong. An ambulance was called and he was shipped out. Well, apparently this teacher was injured really badly. It was serious. Field day was shut down then and there. And the next day, the principal got on the intercom. Attention students, due to an unfortunate incident, field day will be canceled indefinitely. We are launching an investigation into the events of yesterday's lunch. And that's when it hit him. Because of their stupid butter pack launching lunchtime, field day was canceled. What does that mean for next year? Well, I'll tell you what it means. There wasn't a field day next year. Or the year after that. He was never caught for what he did. And I guess the cameras in the lunchroom didn't pick up on this at all. She really did that? Yup. Well, let's get her fired. There was this one teacher. Strict, rude, completely unpredictable. She'd take off points for sloppy handwriting, dock your grade if you turned something in 5 seconds late, and she would also lose assignments like it was nothing. Steven, where's your homework? I literally turned it in. Well, I can't find it, so no, you didn't. At first, everybody rolled with it, but she kept pushing. Like one time, she graded a full assignment a 0 because the kid printed it double-sided. It's harder for me to read. I can't even read this. The moment these kids really snapped, though, was when a student turned in a 3-page paper. It was perfectly done, but he forgot to staple it, and there was no stapler in the classroom. What the heck is 0? Why? Life has consequences. Next time, remember the staple. And that's the point when the class was like, nah. They were done. They started screenshotting their grades, along with the assignment that the grade was for. They recorded her when she was yelling at students. They would save emails that she would send to them where she contradicted herself or made herself look like a horrible teacher. This one kid had a folder on his laptop called Operation Bring Her Down. Once they got a bunch of evidence, they printed everything and put it into a very big packet. They labeled the packet, Why She Shouldn't Teach. They brought it to the office, and they waited. 3 weeks later, a sub walks into their classroom. No explanation, just, hey everybody, my name is Mr. Johnny, and I'm gonna be your sub for the rest of the year. Okay? Your teacher had to go, or something. Okay. She was gone. They did it. No goodbye, no warning, just a pleasant surprise on a Thursday afternoon. Hey, I mean, if she was a horrible teacher, good riddance, right? They're better off. This petty principal sucks. One day at this high school, a student came into class 10 minutes late. It was first period. He was still rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Well, the principal just so happened to be doing classroom check-ins that morning. In that classroom. You're late, Anthony. Why? I missed the bus. I ran here. I'm so sorry. Not good enough. Come with me. She pulls him out in the hallway and just starts laying into him, but she didn't close the classroom door, so that entire class was watching, like, what the heck? You think the world's gonna care? You show up late to a job, you're done. You show up late to college, they drop you. Life's not gonna babysit you, Anthony. Anthony stays quiet. Then she says, maybe if you got your life together, you would stop showing up late. That's when Anthony finally let loose. You want to talk about getting my life together? I get up at 5 a.m. to get my little brother ready for school because nobody else will. I pack his lunch, I make sure he eats, I try to make the bus, but if I miss it, I run here as fast as I can. So don't stand there and talk to me like I'm just some lazy kid. No, you want to lecture somebody? Why don't you start with yourself? At least I'm showing up and still doing something that matters. I'm not just clocking in for a paycheck and going home to a life I hate. If being a bitter old hag was a subject, you'd be an A+ student. Now get out of my face. Dead silent classroom, dead silent hallway. One student in the classroom whispered, ain't no way she's coming back from that. Ain't no way. From that day on, Anthony was a legend, and the principal, well, she stopped doing classroom check-ins in that class. Good for him. This teacher had the weirdest rule. So this kid, let's call him David. He was in middle school, and this one teacher had a lot of weird rules, but one rule stood out to be the most weird. At the end of every class, students were required to shake this teacher's hand before leaving. Every single day. It didn't matter if you were sick, your hands were sweaty, or you were holding all your books, you had to shake this teacher's hand. And now David, like a lot of others, thought that this was the dumbest rule ever. Like, why is this even a thing? Creep. Well, one day he decided to test it. Alright, class is over, the bell rings, everyone's lining up to shake this person's hand like he's the dang president. When it got to David, he just walked right past. Excuse me, David. Yeah, what do you think you're doing, man? I'm leaving, man. Not until you follow the rule like everybody else. I'm not shaking your hand, you weird... The whole class goes silent. The teacher, fuming. He walks to the door and he blocks it. Well, if that's the case, you're not leaving. You weird. Now David's stuck. He can't just leave, and the entire class is watching this entire thing go down. David sighs. He slowly reaches out his hand. Fine. Goes in for a handshake. That's right. Now as their hands are about to touch, David inhales and fakes a ginormous sneeze. Spit goes all over this teacher's face. You know, everybody just get out of the classroom now. Just go. The next day, the rule was gone. I guess the teacher tried talking to the principal, but the principal told him that it was kind of creepy in the first place to make all your students shake your hand before leaving class. I agree. Dude, don't shoot it from there. If it sticks, I'm a legend. It started with one kid. He was bored during history class, and he sat in the last row of the room. So because he was bored, he pulled a rubber band from his backpack and he shot it at the wall behind him. Pwap! It stuck to the wall. No one noticed. The next day, he did it again. Nice! Thwap! 2 rubber bands stuck to the wall. And then it became this thing. It was like an unspoken challenge for the kids that sat in the back of the room. The challenge would be to see if your rubber band can stick to the wall. And kids did whatever it took. They dipped these rubber bands in spit, juice, soda, anything that made them tacky enough to hold. It was disgusting, but it worked. And over time, the wall started to change. There were layers. Bands stuck on top of other bands. It looked like some weird, stretchy art project. And the teacher, he never turned around. He was one of those teachers that stood in the front of the class the whole time and he lectured from the board. He never noticed a thing. But then one day, they got a sub, and the sub noticed immediately. She walks in, she sees the wall, and she freezes. And all the students are waiting her to be grossed out or to snitch to the principal or something. But instead, she walks over, pulls out a pen, and leaves a note on the wall. When she walked away, the kids checked the note. All the note said was respect. That's awesome. This kid got blamed for something he didn't do. This one day at this one high school, during their free period, a kid was eating lunch outside by the football field, while a couple of students were kicking and throwing around a football. This kid, let's call him Steven, was sitting nearby. He wasn't playing, he was just eating his lunch. Suddenly, go long! Crash. One of the football players accidentally threw the football at the school window and it shattered. A teacher comes sprinting out of the building. Hey yo, who threw that? Everyone's frozen. Then one kid pointed to Steven. It was him. He kicked it. What? I wasn't even playing. But the teacher was already on the walkie-talkie. We got a broken window. Student responsible has been identified. Come with me. Steven is dragged to the office. They pull up security footage, but the camera angle cuts off right before the area where Steven was eating and they were playing, so it was useless. So, they just take the other kid's word for it. Steven gets 2 days of in-school suspension, and he has to pay $147 to fix the window. And the worst part? 2 weeks later, the kid that blamed him brags about it in the locker room. Yeah, I just didn't want to get in trouble and Steven was sitting there anyway. It was perfect. One kid heard it, went to the office to tell the principal. You'd think they would apologize, right? Nope. They just said, yeah, well, the case has already been handled. It's done, so nothing to do about it now. But thanks for letting me know, man. And that's the dumbest reason I've seen anybody get into trouble ever. Justice for Steven, man. That ain't right. So this mom sends her son to preschool. He's 5, super nice kid, and he loves the lunches she packs for him. They're not normal lunches or whatever, but they're his favorites. Celery sticks with blue cheese and goat cheese, a little bit of kimchi and spam, they're Korean, and a few spicy Doritos tossed in sriracha. What a bold lunch. And honestly, that sounds freaking awesome. Let's go. Anyway, a few hours after she picked him up one day, she gets a call from the teacher, and the teacher doesn't even try to be nice. Hi, yeah, I need you to stop packing your son such disgusting and inappropriate lunches. The mom's like, excuse me? Yes, they're distracting other students, they smell disgusting, and they are just definitely not school appropriate. And keep in mind, this is preschool. And this teacher's going full-on Gordon Ramsay about a 5-year-old's lunch. The mom is stunned. She says this, look, I know it's not the healthiest, but he loves it. It's some of what he eats at home, and it's just comforting for him. Well, it's making the classroom uncomfortable. So the mom wraps it up like a professional. I appreciate your concern, lady, but I am not going to completely change my son's lunches just because some other students are distracted by what he eats. Okay, bye. And she hangs up. For real though, where does this teacher get off? An hour later, ding. An email from the teacher. This email is saying that the mom's response was unacceptable and that these lunches are just too inappropriate to be sent to school anymore. What? Celery, goat cheese, blue cheese, kimchi, spam, what is wrong with that? This teacher banned a 5-year-old's lunch because she is an ignorant piece of work. Yeah. Let's be honest, none of you are going anywhere in life. What? Yo, that's messed up. So on this day, this teacher was already at her limit. Kids were talking in class, someone was playing Subway Surfers at full volume, and she snaps. She turns to the class and she says this. You know what, guys? It's clear that you do not want to learn, and let's be real. None of you are going anywhere in life anyway. The whole room freezes. People were shocked. Did she really just say that? Well, one kid stood up, and without hesitation, he says this. Clearly, you didn't go anywhere in life either. At this point, the class is losing it. She hits him with this. Sir, excuse me, you have no room to speak. You are literally failing my class. And that's when he ends her with this. Yeah, and you've been teaching this class for 19 years. You eat yogurt for lunch, still drive a 2006 Toyota Corolla, and you cry in the parking lot before second period, so I'm sorry, who's really failing here? A kid flips a chair. Oh my god. The bell rang, these students are going absolutely insane. She stands there frozen. She has no idea what the heck to do. And then as he's about to leave the classroom, he looks at her and says this. Hey, from now on, shut your mouth and let me fail in peace. See you tomorrow. And he left the room. That's absolutely crazy. One day in middle school, this kid was in math class, completely bored out of his mind. So instead of reviewing the packet he was given, he was doodling a picture in his notebook. He was sketching a cartoon of that teacher. Weird haircut, holding a ruler like it's a sword. I mean, it was kind of brutal, but it was funny. Well, suddenly the teacher walks by and she sees it. Is this supposed to be me? No. She snatches the paper, holds it up like it's evidence. Think this is funny? Office, now. He's like, yep, I'm done for. Detention for sure. He walks down to the principal's office, nervous. He gets in there and he hands the principal the picture that he drew of his teacher, expecting the worst. The principal stares at him, silent for a second, and then he bursts out laughing. Okay. All right, first of all, man, this is spot on. Kudos to you. Second of all, I've been telling her to fix her hair for 3 years. Really? Oh, yeah. Hey, pass me that red marker. Okay. He takes the red marker and draws flames behind her on the picture. Boom. Now it's art. I'm gonna keep this, all right? For me. Go to class, man. You're good. Oh. All right. No detention, no punishment, just a really cool interaction with a super cool principal. That's awesome. People who were legends in their high school. This one is very short, but it's definitely legendary. At one high school, this kid's last name was Alcock, and one day he decided to run for student council. He made campaign posters and put them all around the school, and the posters consisted simply of his slogan, part man, part machine, Alcock. That's wild. I was afraid to fall asleep in class, and this story is exactly why. This person starts by saying that Mr. Vance was a super chill teacher. What's up, class? Let's learn some history. He spent most of class leaning against the wall, talking about history like it was a bonfire story. Kids loved him, but he also kept a wooden paddle hanging on the wall right next to the whiteboard. No, it wasn't for hitting students. Why'd he have the paddle, you ask? Well, it was for situations like this. One day, this kid named Tyler, he had pulled an all-nighter. He had tons of homework to finish, and no matter how hard he tried to stay awake, he couldn't. The teacher clocked it. He then stopped teaching, went to the paddle, and walked by this kid's desk. And the kids in Tyler's row knew the drill. They all got everything off their desks and they kind of scooted back. The teacher then took that paddle and as hard as he possibly could, he smacked it on the desk right next to Tyler. And it was so loud. And Tyler didn't just startle awake. He hopped about 5 feet in the air. The teacher then went right back to teaching. Hey, stay awake. All right, class. And boy, is that the worst. Now, my teachers didn't have a paddle, but they would just take their hand and I would never sleep. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submissions. This kid buys a bunch of Jolly Ranchers in bulk. He buys regular flavors and the tropical flavors. When he gets home, he puts them into separate Ziploc bags and throws them in his backpack. And then every day before school, he puts all of the flavors he has in stock on his Snapchat story and people tell him what they want. He sells 10 Jolly Ranchers for $1 and he sells them during the passing periods. The first day he started this business, he made $40. And after 5 days, he has made $270. So there was this teacher, strict, rule obsessed. Didn't matter what the rule was, if you didn't follow it, you were done. One day, this student, let's call him Marcus, starts coughing in class. He reaches into his backpack and pulls out his inhaler. Doesn't say anything, doesn't interrupt the class, he just takes his inhaler. And the teacher stops the entire lesson. Excuse me, what is that? That's my inhaler, I have asthma. She walks over, takes it out of his hand and goes, you can't just use things like this during my instruction. I'm putting this on my desk. Now, I forgot to mention that this teacher was kind of one of those super old mean teachers, so, you know, maybe she's losing it, because who would do this? Anyway, this kid tries to explain, but she doesn't care. She takes his inhaler and puts it on her desk. If it's that serious, go to the nurse. Otherwise, follow classroom rules. Marcus just sits there, wheezing, staring at the inhaler in front of the room. After class, he actually goes to the nurse and tells her what happened. And the nurse is absolutely livid. She talks to the principal, she calls Marcus's mom, she files a report. Within 24 hours, there's a giant meeting at the school, and this teacher's there. No one knows exactly what happened in that meeting, but the principal pulled Marcus aside afterwards and told him that he was free to use his inhaler whenever he felt he needed to. Marcus never said another word to her in her class, but he used his inhaler whenever he wanted, and she didn't say a single thing. Now, this may not be related to what she did, but at the end of that year, that teacher retired. Good. So this school lets seniors submit quotes for their yearbook photos. Most people pick stuff like, thanks mom, or most likely to be a Riz God, you know, stuff like that. But this one senior, the kid who was always kind of getting in trouble, submitted this quote. He wanted his quote to say, at least I'm not the principal. Apparently this kid and the principal had some long-standing beef. Everybody thought it was gonna get flagged. Edited out. There was no way it makes it in the yearbook. Except it did. His quote was in the yearbook, at least I'm not the principal. The yearbook got delivered, people started flipping through, and then they found it. Page 142, bottom row, there he is. It blew up. People were taking pictures of it and posting it on their social media. It was like a monument, a meme in this school. The next day, the principal calls him down to the office. So you are not walking at graduation. What? It was just a joke. Yeah, a joke. At my expense. Actions have consequences, I'm sorry. That sucked. Yes, he was still graduating, but he wasn't allowed to walk at the ceremony. But this is the epic part. Fast forward a few weeks to graduation day. And obviously this kid doesn't walk. But his friends do. And under their gowns, they're all wearing t-shirts that say, "At least I'm not the principal." And when their name was called and they would get up there, they would unzip and show the t-shirt. Oh my god. Best prank ever. So one day in 7th grade, this kid got called into the principal's office. He had no idea why. He walks in, sits down, and the principal just stared at him. The principal asks, "So, you want to tell me what you did?" The kid's confused. "I have no idea what you're talking about." That's when the teacher walks in, and she looks pissed. "Don't play dumb, you know exactly what you did." Now the kid's kind of panicking. "I swear I don't know, what did I do?" "You skipped my class yesterday, but I know you were at school because I saw you before and after lunch." "What were you doing?" "Huh? Probably something illegal." But here's the thing. He was literally in her class yesterday. "No, I wasn't. I was in class. I was sitting on my usual seat." "You're crazy. I took attendance, and you were not there. Detention." Now at this point, this kid is super frustrated. He already did not like this teacher. Now she's accusing him of skipping her class for whatever reason. So he asks the principal one simple question. "You have security cameras in every hallway, right?" Of course we do, yeah, for the safety of the school." "Then check them." The room goes silent. The teacher grows pale because she knows she messed up. They send the kid to sit outside the office while they looked at the cameras, and 15 minutes later, they called him back in. "We checked the footage. You were in class." "I know." "You can go. I'll handle your teacher." But as he was walking away from the office, he could hear the principal yelling at the teacher. "Now why on God's green earth would you make something like that up?"
"Oh, I didn't. I swear."
"You better shut your mouth."
You're on thin ice. You're on thin ice.
So this one high school had a basement. Students didn't really know it existed. It was used for maintenance, storage, stuff like that, and it was always locked. Well, one day, this kid, let's call him Jake, was wandering around the school during his free period when he noticed the door to the basement was kind of ajar. The janitor forgot to lock it, so he goes down there. It was a huge, dusty storage room. Old desks, broken chairs, random junk everywhere. But in the middle of the room, there was this tiny metal box that caught his attention. What is that? So he opens it. Inside the box was a single envelope. He picked it up, felt something inside, and he looked. And what he found in there would make his stomach drop. Oh my God. Inside the envelope was an old student ID. The photo was faded. The name was a name he did not recognize, and the date on it, 1986. Underneath the ID was a set of car keys, and underneath the car keys, a newspaper clipping. The headline, "High school senior still missing, car found abandoned in school parking lot." He slammed the box shut and ran the heck up the stairs. He was getting out of there. He tried telling a teacher what he saw. The teacher was kind of curious, so she went to the basement door, but it was locked. The janitor walks up. "Hi, can I help you?" "Yeah, one of my students was curious about something in here. Do you mind if I come down here and take a look? Looking for like a metal box or something?" "Oh, sure. Yeah." She goes down there, but there wasn't a metal box to be found anywhere. She thanks the janitor, goes back upstairs, and tells the student, "I don't know what you saw, but there's nothing down there right now, so it must have been your imagination or something. Go to class." But deep down, he knows he came across something very sinister that day. Weird things teachers made students do. One day in 6th grade, this kid got to his math class before everybody else. It was just him and the teacher for a few minutes. And he was kind of anxious. So he was sitting there kind of jittery, but minding his own business. The teacher then noticed he was jittery. And this is what she did. "Hi, I want you to stand up right now, please." Okay. "Now I want you to dance. Just dance right there in your spot. Just dance." "What do you mean?" "Start dancing." "Can you at least put some music on or something for me?" "No." And so he stood there and he was dancing. He had no idea why he was doing this, but students were walking down the hall looking at him so weird. What the heck? "Can I please stop dancing now?" "No!" And then finally the bell rang. "Okay, now you can stop." "Thanks." He told his parents what happened and they were super pissed. His mom went to the school the next day and chewed this teacher out in front of the principal. This kid named Matt was spending the night at his friend's house for the first time. They had been best friends since the start of the year, but he had actually never stayed at his house before. Everything was pretty normal at first. Pizza, video games, all that. Before bed, the dad walks into their room and says, "All right, boys, remember, no flushing the toilet after 10 p.m., okay?" Matt just laughs. He thinks the guy's joking. This ain't no joke, son. I'm serious. If you have to go, go, but don't flush until morning. Then he just walks out. What's that about, dude? Yeah, man, my dad's really strict about the water bill. He says flushing at night's a waste. Bro, what if I gotta dump one? You just don't, okay? Alright, weird, but whatever. Matt and this kid go to sleep. Fast forward to 2 a.m. Matt wakes up, and of course, he's gotta go to the bathroom. He tries to hold it, but it's impossible. His stomach is rumbling, if you catch my drift. But finally, he sneaks out of bed. He heads to the bathroom. He's extra quiet. He does his business and then stands up. When he stands up and looks into the toilet, he's debating. Should I flush or not? There's literal in there. He's gonna flush. This is stupid. Big mistake. Within seconds, he hears footsteps. Fast footsteps. Coming straight for the bathroom. Before he can even react, the door swings open. His friend's dad is wide awake, standing there staring at him. Get out. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. No. Get out of my house. Alright. It was 2 in the morning. He had to call his parents, wake them up, and they had to come get him. He told his parents what happened, and they never let him go to his best friend's house ever again. People that were legends in their high school. At this kid's high school, the history teacher was absolutely jacked. He would bike 10 miles to school every morning. He kept an ab roller in his classroom, and every day for lunch he would eat salad and beans. Well, one day he was giving this kid's class a pop quiz, and this kid named Jeff, who was the strongest, biggest kid in the class, goes up to the history teacher and says, "If I can punch you in the stomach and make you flinch, will you give the entire class 100% on these quizzes?" And the history teacher agreed. So Jeff prepares. He's winding up and he punches the teacher as hard as he possibly can in the stomach. And the teacher did not flinch one bit. And the entire class had to take the quiz. Jeff went down in history as the kid who punched a teacher. And the teacher went down in history as the guy no one should ever mess with. My name is Mike, and today's my first day at a new school. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm a bully, and I plan to be the biggest bully here. Are you a bully? Yeah, are you? Yeah, today's my first day. I'm Mike. Hey, I'm Chad. Nice to meet you, man. So, who's easy pickings around here? I love to bully that guy. How about that dude? That's Kyle. I wouldn't bully him if I were you. It's not worth it. Yeah, right, it's always worth it. I'm gonna bully him right now. Hey, loser. Who are you? I'm Mike. I'm the new bully here, and I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Oh, really? Just like how you make your parents' life a living hell? Oh, I'm sorry, should I say parent? I'm sure your mom doesn't even know who your dad is. Wait, what? You donkey-looking, big head hat-wearing fool. I bet you eat cereal with water because your dad never came home with the milk. You suck, man. Well, you suck more. For less. I told you, bro. I miss my old school. This has to be the weirdest sleepover ever. Everything was chill until about 6 p.m. Sleepover's been going smooth, pizza, Mario Kart, chillin'. Then suddenly his friend goes, "Oh, my stomach hurts." At first he just shrugs it off. By 7 p.m, it got worse. It's on the floor, groaning. His mom's panicking. "Honey, are you okay?" "It hurts so bad. We're going to the ER right now." That's when he says, "Wait, what about me? You stay here with Grandma, sweetie. Bye." What? Door slams, tires screech, they're gone. "Hello there. I'm Grandma." "Hi. Wanna watch Wheel of Fortune?" "Sure." My insides are on fire! We're almost there. Stay with me, sweetie. Stay with me. What you knitting? Well, I'm making you a hat, my dear. Awesome. Somebody help, my son is dying. I have lasagna and cookies for us. It smells amazing. Count backwards from 10, please. 10. 9. Good. Scalpel. Oh dear, I'm tired too. Look at that, it's 8:30 p.m. Past our bedtime. Why don't you head upstairs, go to sleep? I'll head to my room. See you in the morning, dear.
Sweet dreams, Grandma.
And that's how a kid had the best night of his life with his friend's grandma while his friend was in the hospital having surgery because his appendix burst. Who could have saw that coming? Where's my marker? Where's my marker? Miss, there's another marker right there. It's not the same. So this teacher had a favorite marker. Not the kind of favorite where she used it. It was the kind of favorite where she just talked about it a lot and kept it close. It was a purple Expo marker with a chisel tip. She called it her thinking marker. You know, she would use it to like teach and whatever. She kept it in a separate drawer and she said that nobody was allowed to use it. One day she opens the drawer and it's gone. She pulls the drawer out of her desk, turns around and holds it up to the class. Who took my purple marker? Class is confused. They're like, here we go. But she doesn't start class. She just paces the room. You know, I'm not even mad. I'm just really, really disappointed in you guys. That marker was a gift. And it meant something to me. And everyone's just sitting there like, yo, is she crying? Over a marker? Then she locks the door. We are not leaving until it's returned. She gives a whole 15-minute speech. She called it a teachable moment in betrayal. People started checking their bags just to prove that they didn't have it. They were dumping everything out like, Miss, we don't have your frickin' marker, lady. Eventually, someone finds this purple marker under her desk. It rolled behind a storage box that she kept down there. She picks it up, holds it in the air, and she says, see? This is why trust matters, you guys. Class ended 10 minutes late that day because of this teacher's nonsense, and nobody learned a thing, except for the fact that maybe she is weirdly in love with an Expo marker. People that were legends in their high school. At this kid's school, the legend was actually the gym teacher. And this is how he became a legend. One day after school, he was in the parking lot, and he got absolutely railed by a bus. And he was hit pretty hard. But he didn't cry out in pain or call the ambulance. He simply stood up, walked in the bus, and asked if everybody on the bus was okay. People were like, yeah man, we're fine. How are you? The bus just hit you. But he was fine. He ended up getting fired 5 years later because he was caught soaking raisins in vodka and eating them throughout the day. This guy's crazy. One day this school had a guest speaker come for an assembly. The whole school was packed into the gym. Hundreds of students, everyone bored out of their mind. The speaker was some local business guy, and all he was going to be doing was talking about leadership and hard work. Nobody was paying attention until about 20 minutes in, a student, let's call him Kevin, stood up. Excuse me? The entire gym went silent. Everyone looked at him. Even the speaker stopped mid-sentence. And in a serious, confident voice, the kid says, I have a question. Yeah, totally. What's your question? Then Kevin, without hesitation, asked, would you rather fight a gorilla once a year but you get a sword? Or have to fight a chicken every time you open a door forever? The entire gym lost it. The teachers were stunned. The speaker stood there processing. Finally, I think I'd take the gorilla. And Kevin just nodded. Respectable choice. And he sat back down. Well, as you can imagine, the entire assembly was completely derailed. For the next 10 minutes, students were arguing about the gorilla or the chicken. The gorilla's the obvious choice. I mean, what are you gonna do? Every single time you open a door, you gotta fight a chicken? I just won't open doors, you idiot. Like, that's realistic. How are you gonna go forever without opening doors? Principal finally got on the mic. Everybody shut up! And the assembly was cut short right then and there. And after that, the would you rather fight a gorilla or a chicken became the most debated question in this school's history. People were making posters and hanging them on the wall. Gorilla versus chicken. Kevin never really said anything about it after that day. But for the rest of high school, people would walk past him in the hall and just whisper, hey Kevin, respectable choice. And that's how he became a legend. This teacher had a secret drawer. When this guy was in 7th grade, his teacher did this weird thing. She had one drawer in her desk that she never opened. She'd grab pencils, papers, even her coffee mug from all the other drawers, but that one drawer, she would never touch. One day while she was out sick, that class had a substitute. And in the middle of a lesson, that sub needed a stapler. I need a stapler, okay. So she went over to the desk and started opening drawers. Grabbed a few things, and then she got to the forbidden drawer, and she opened it. Well, the students noticed her open this drawer. What is this? Inside the drawer was a McDonald's bag, perfectly intact. The sub went into the bag and pulled out a medium-sized McDonald's fry. What in the world? It looked normal, like it was just bought yesterday. How long has this been in there? I don't know, miss, but honestly, I would leave it. And she did. She put that right back in the drawer and closed it. The next day, the teacher was back, and everybody was dying to know what was up with those french fries. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Hey, miss? Oh, yeah, Carlos. Why do you have McDonald's fries in your drawer? The teacher just smirked. Because they never rot. I bought them 5 years ago. 5 years, holy crap, the class was horrified. But they look completely normal. Exactly. That's why I keep them. It's my little experiment. Food should not look like that after 5 years. In that class for the rest of the year, whenever somebody brought up McDonald's or talked about food in general, she would pull out those 5-year-old McDonald's fries, just to make a point how bad fast food is for you. Now, this principal had a secret. This person said that back in 8th grade, there was a principal named Mr. Reynolds, and Mr. Reynolds was way too intense. He had this whole no phones in school rule, but he took it to a weird level. If he even saw the outline of your phone in your pocket, he would stop you in the hallway. Give it to me. No, I'm not even using it. Doesn't matter, you know the rules. And the worst part, he'd keep it locked in his office until the end of the day. And if it was like the 3rd or 4th time he had to take your phone away from you, your parents would have to come in and get it. So absolutely just crazy. Well, this one girl, let's call her Ashley, she had had enough. He took her phone one day for checking the time during lunch. Give me that! I'm literally checking the time. You know the rules. So the next day, she told her older brother, who was already graduated but still had friends at the school. And he came up with a plan. Got you, sis. That weekend, Ashley's brother made a fake email address, pretending to be from the school's IT department. And he sent an email to the school board, saying there was suspicious activity coming from the principal's computer. Send. Take that, Mr. Reynolds. Now, he was just trying to make Mr. Reynolds' life a living hell. He didn't think anything of it, really, just to mess with him real bad. But on Monday, an actual person from the school district showed up at that school. Turns out, Mr. Reynolds had a handful of students' phones backed up on his computer. He found out how to bypass passcodes, and some of them didn't even have passcodes, so he was just uploading stuff to his computer. Text messages, photos, everything. A complete invasion of privacy and super, super creepy. And he was fired on the spot. So Ashley's brother, trying to prank the principal, turned out to be something that actually needed to happen. This dude was messed up. No goodbyes, just walked out the building while the students watched. Get a life, loser! Screw you, Mr. Reynolds! You're a freaking creep! Bye! Ashley got her phone back, and the students got a principal that actually cared about them. Black markets kids ran in their schools. At one high school, there was a kid known as the pizza dealer. Throughout the beginning of the day, he would take orders from students. They would give him cash, and he would order a bunch of different pizzas from the local pizza place. But he timed it perfectly. Whenever he did this, the delivery guy would be outside the school right before lunch started. He would go get it, bring the pizza and all the goods back inside, and passed it out to his customers. He only made a little bit of profit, but people loved him, and everyone loves pizza. Interesting facts about lucid dreams. Lucid dreaming is when you are in a dream and you know that you're in a dream. You can control it and do whatever you want, like literally. I taught myself how to do it when I was younger, and it is awesome. Did you know that time moves slower when you were in a dream? One person apparently lived a lifetime in a lucid dream. She said it felt like she was in there for 100 years. And she wasn't stuck, she said. She said it was epic, but it only actually happened over the course of a night. When you lucid dream, you can create a world, cities, houses, and even people that you can revisit every time you're back in that dream. It's like you have two lives, your waking life and your dream life. Dream characters are people that your subconscious puts in your dream. So say you're 100% lucid, you know you're dreaming, and you walk around a city. If you ask a question to somebody walking around, their answer is actually your subconscious talking to you. Have you ever had a lucid dream? People who were legends in their high school. At this one person's high school, there was this girl named Kelly who was quiet, had good manners, and never got into trouble at all. In fact, nobody really knew who she was until one day she was escorted off of the campus by police. Apparently, she had stolen credit card information from more than 14 students and went on a shopping spree. She disappeared for a year, but was somehow allowed back to the school for her senior year. Instead of being hated on and disliked, people loved her. Free Kelly posters with her mugshot on them were all over the walls of the school. Her name was even used in school chants at football games, and she was invited to all the parties. That is completely epic. This woman had been dating this guy for a few months, and the first time she stayed over at his house, she wanted to take a shower in the morning, but she noticed there wasn't any towels in the bathroom. Steven? Yo, what's up? There's no towels in here. Can I have a towel, please? Oh, yeah, sure. 1 second. Here. Thanks. She noticed that the towel he gave her was obviously super dirty, and it smelled horribly. Steven! Yeah, what's up? Can I have a clean towel, please? This one's dirty. What do you mean? No, that's clean. It's definitely dirty. It's fine, though. Just get me a new towel. Okay, fine. Here. Thank you. Dude, this one's dirty, too. Did you wash these? What are you talking about? You don't need to wash towels. Every time you shower, they clean themselves because they're getting wet. It's like the same thing as a washing machine. So you never wash your towels? Never. My mom did the same thing. What? That is nasty. That is nasty. This is not gonna work. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go shower at my own place. So one day in 8th grade, the school had a fire drill. Pretty normal, the alarm goes off, and the teacher lines everybody up. But this one kid, he had a plan. I have a plan. See, earlier that week, the teacher said something that gave him an idea. If there's ever a fire class, you should only take the essentials, okay? So, while everyone walked out with nothing, this kid sprinted out carrying his entire desk, chair included. He was full speed hauling it through the hallway. Hey, why are you taking your desk? Young man, what are you doing? And he just yelled back, "It's an essential!" And then outside, while the whole school stood in the parking lot, he sat down at his desk like it was a normal school day. He started pulling out his notebooks and he was taking fake notes. The kid was a real comedian. Everyone was dying of laughter. Teachers were too confused to even yell at him. And then when the principal finally came over and asked, "Hi, what are you doing?" he just shrugged and said, "I thought we were evacuating, so I evacuated my education." Okay. And after that, every single fire drill, someone tried to take something bigger out with them. It became this crazy thing that people were doing, until one day the principal got on the intercom and begged, "During fire drills, students, please, stop taking the furniture outside with you. Please." Honestly, that kid's a legend. A $3,000 earring just sank to the bottom of a swimming pool. It was a July heat wave. Water at the public pool was cloudy. The deep end was super deep. Even the lifeguards were afraid. And at the bottom of the pool was now this girl's very expensive earring. "Somebody help me, somebody help me." That's when everybody turned to this kid who was sitting in a chair playing with a ladybug. "Do something. Do something, Bug." You see, they called this kid Gills, because every day in the summer he would play in pool water, and he would drink it. Don't ask him, dude, he's super weird. Yeah, but bro, if somebody could do it, it's Gills. Gills never used goggles. He said he could sense his surroundings through his fingertips. So they asked him, "Hey Gills, yabo, we need your help, man. That girl lost a $3,000 earring. It's at the bottom of the deep end." Gills did not hesitate. "I'm on it." He dives right in. 1 minute passed, then 2. The snack bar worker paused the music. The crowd went dead silent. Everyone was waiting for Gills' lifeless body to float to the surface, when suddenly a hand comes right out of the water, holding the earring. "Oh my god, here's your earring. I also found a hot dog down there. Free food." He ate the hot dog and sat back down with the ladybug. That day, the nickname Gills stopped being an insult. He was kind of a legend. And it all started because, "Hey, you're the guy selling the dresser, right?" "Yes, sir, 40 bucks and it's yours." This guy was scrolling through Craigslist, looking for some cheap furniture, when he found a solid wooden dresser that he really liked. He meets up with the seller, pays him, and hauls the dresser home. Everything seems totally normal, until he opened up the first drawer. "What the heck is this?" And inside that drawer was a Ziploc bag full of teeth. Human teeth. And not just like a couple of teeth. We're talking dozens. Different sizes, shapes, colors, some old and yellow, others perfectly white. "What is this?" He immediately calls the seller. "Hey, yeah, hi, so what's in this dresser?" "Oh, you found the teeth, huh?" "Yes, I found the teeth. Why are there teeth in this dresser that you sold me?" "Listen, man, my grandpa was a dentist and those are his collection, okay? A collection of human teeth." "Okay, so why are they in the dresser?" "Oh, that's just where he kept them." "Okay, but why are there so many of them, dude? This is kind of crazy." "I don't know, bro. He was really passionate about teeth, okay? Now I got a Caesar salad and Love is Blind to watch. Can I go?" "Yeah, okay, bye." So this guy did what any normal person would do. He kept the teeth. Why? Well, just in case that guy's grandpa was a serial murderer. So one day, in the middle of 3rd period, this one high school student stood up, didn't say a word, didn't pack up any of his stuff. He just got up and walked out. The teacher was stunned for a second before yelling, "Where do you think you're going?" And without breaking stride, the kid just said, "I've learned enough." The teacher was mad, everyone laughed, but they all assumed he would be back the next day. Except he wasn't. Not the next day, not the next week. But here's the crazy part, it's like the school almost let it happen. People were constantly asking, is he suspended? Did he get expelled? Did he transfer? Nobody had an answer. Well, one day, this concerned student went to the office to ask for himself. Hey, do you have any idea where Johnny's been? Johnny Stevenson? The secretary said, well, it says here that he's still enrolled in the school, so maybe you just missed him. He was still enrolled, but nobody's seen him. He didn't drop out. He was still a student, but nobody had seen him for months. Then at the end of the year, something even weirder happened. It was graduation day. The principal was reading names, and suddenly they read his name. Johnny Stevenson! Everybody froze. People were stunned. There was a long, awkward silence. Then, at the back of the room, Johnny stood up, wearing a full cap and gown. He walked down the aisle, shook the principal's hand, took his diploma, and walked out. And still, nobody knows where Johnny went all that time. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. In middle school, this kid's grandma had just passed away, and it was his first day back after the funeral. This is kind of what happened. Did everyone turn their homework in? I only count 17. And there's 20 of us, so who didn't turn their homework in? I didn't. And why didn't you turn it in, Kyle? Did you even do it? You should know this. My grandma just died and I was at her funeral over the weekend. I'm sorry, but I wasn't thinking about homework. Well, that's a shame, Kyle. I'm giving you a 0 for the entire week. Are you dead, Kyle? No. Homework is more important than funerals, as long as you're alive. Well, that pissed him off and he lost his mind. You are an absolute... My grandma just died. She was my favorite person in the entire world, and I was at her funeral over the weekend, and now you're punishing me for not doing some stupid math assignment? Screw you! I wish you died instead of my grandma. That's it! Go to the office right now. Good heavens. He explained what happened to school administration, but nobody cared. He was suspended for a week.
বাবা
ভাই আমি তো এলাকা ছাড়ুন ছাড়ার আগে
তুমি একটা গিরাট টুকরা ছেলে, যেই ছেলে
তানিয়া আমার পিস্তলটা নিয়ে আয় তো।
কাকা দুধটা কাকাকে দুধটা রাইখে গেলাম গো।
মাত্র সে ফেসবুকে স্ট্যাটাস দিয়েছে সে একটি অনাথ বাচ্চাকে
কত স্যাক্রিফাইস করছি, এলাকার বড় ভাই থেকে রিক্সা চালক হয়ে গেলাম, আর সেটাই করবো। যে গরম না, আর এই বড় ভাই তোর মায়ের চিকিৎসার দায়িত্ব নিছে। সেলিম ভাই ভালোবাসার লেগে জেল খাটছিল।
ভাই আপনি যত কথাই, এই বাড়িতে ওই বদমাইশটার কথা একবারও ভুলে উচ্চারণ করবা না।
ভাই মিনিমাম আপনি 17 লাইনের একটা কবিতা লেখেন। 17 লাইনের কবিতা
কিন্তু ছাপাই না, সব মাথার ভিতরে থাকে। যখন পড়তে ইচ্ছা করে মাথা, আমি জানো ওরে বাপ করে দেব। আর আমি কি কমো জানো? তবু তানিয়া আমি বলাবো কেমনে বেটা, কস না কেন, বেটা
এটা পড়ে আপনার প্রেমে পুরো রূপ করে পড়ে যাবো। আর তো আপনি পারবেন ভাই, আপনি পারবেন।
ও 700 লাইন লিখবো, আর বাদ বাকি 300 লাইন আমি লেখা বললাম।
একটু নামিয়ে দাও। মানে ও ছাড়া পাক না পাক তাতে আমাদের কি?
ভিতরটা শিমুল তুলার মতো নরম হয়ে ছিল, যাওয়ার সাথে সাথে একটা।
তুমি এতদিন যা করেছো তাতে আমার একটুও মন গলেনি, আর তোমাকে ভালোবাসার কোনো কারণ।
ও আপনি সে বড় ভাই? আপনার নাম তো আমি বহুত শুনছি, কিন্তু আমার
বুঝছস
ভাই আমি এটাই বুঝলাম না, আপনি এই মাইয়া তানিয়ার মধ্যে কি পাইছেন? এলাকার সব মাইয়া আপনার।
মানুষ মাত্রই ভুল করে, তাতে কি?
ভাই এমন যে করব,
দাঁড়া, মাথার ভিতরে অলরেডি একদম। তানিয়ার বাপরে আমি চ্যালেঞ্জ করছি 7 দিনের মধ্যে তানিয়া আমারে আমি প্রেমে ভালাবো কেমনে বেটা কস না কেন বেটা।
ভাই কি কম কোন মানে হ্যাঁ বাড়িতে কেমনে ভাই করবে এটা তো জানি না, এর মধ্যে আপনি কবিতা দিয়ে দিচ্ছেন। আমি তো
কোন হারামজাদা আমার মায়েরা ডিস্টার্ব করে?
খালু আপনি শুধু শুধু রাগ করছেন।
আমি হইতেছি রিক্সা, তুমি হইতেছে এসি বাস।
মামা পাড়া দিত।
আপনার ছেলের সাথে আমি আমার মেয়েকে বিয়ে দিব। ঠিক আছে ভাই স্যার।
ফুটে যাব না মানে এত হ্যান্ডসাম ফ্রেন্ডলি সুন্দর
আর জিত চিরদিন থাকবে। একটা এতিম ছেলের জন্য আজকে আমি
আমার মতো একটা মানুষকে ভালোবাসা যায়।
সত্যি বলতেছো তানিয়া?
সেলিম
আবার আসবো স্যার। আগে আপনার বাসায় আসতে গেলে পা কাঁপতো, এখন আর পা কাঁপতো না। তুমি অনেক ভালো একটা মাইয়া, তোমার অনেক ভালো হইবে।
আমার মা হাসপাতালে ভর্তি, ডাক্তার কইছে 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত আর 1 লাখ টাকা যদি আজকে
ওর জন্য পাগল আর আপনি তানিয়ার জন্য পাগল।
আরে জুলি, এইটারে কয় ভালোবাসা। আরিয়া, তোমার হাতের রান্না।
তোমার বড় ভাইয়ের ভালো না থাকলে এখান থেকে চলে যেতে বলো।
আরে জুলি, তুমি আবার কি রাইখা কি
প্রেমে ফেলতে পারো তাহলে আমি নিজে দাঁড়িয়ে থেকে তোমার আর তানিয়ার বিয়ে দিব।
সারাদিন ধরে ভিক্ষা করছে, আমাদের 1 লাখ টাকা আর 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত লাগবে। কি করবো বলো, আমি তো আর প্রফেশনাল রিক্সা চালক না, প্রেমিক রিক্সা চালক। আমার তাহলে কি লিখছস, কয় লাইন লিখছস
সে কি তোরে খুব ডিস্টার্ব করতো? আরে না, আরে শোন না একবার কি।
ভাই আমাকে আপনার সাথে লেগে যান।
নাম তোরা বুঝছি তো আমি, আজকে আমার বিজয়ের দিন। এখানে 100 কবিতা আছে, সার্ভিসটা তো একটু আলাদা থাকবে তাই না?
দেখেন আমি কলেজে যাব, আমার দেরি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এসব নাটক দেখা
আর কি ওই যে তানিয়া তো পড়াশোনা করে সন্ধ্যার সময় যদি একটু খায় মাথাটা ঠান্ডা। এই এগুলা কি? এই কাটার ভিতরে আমার মেয়ের নাম লেখা কেন? এই বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে বুঝছো, ওই যে বলছে আছে বলছে